All right. Let's cut to the chase, ladies and gentlemen. After what we saw last week of Mike Santana flat out losing his title, and then we hear about someone getting ejected from the Impact Zone himself, and then have to apologize to that person when they didn't do anything. TNA has not looked good in the last couple of days. Let's make it clear. After what happened last week, they have not looked good. Now, going into the next show, which is taped, what did we get in this show? All right. Questions. And there's only one question I have. One. And I don't believe it'll happen, but I have to mention this, even though I do not believe it could happen, but I have to do it. Will they go there? I believe that's the title. I don't remember what I think that's the title. Will they go there? Let's make this very clear about, and I am going to talk about JDC and Eric's match and what my final thoughts on this. But let's make this clear. How TNA has been running for the last year. They have done some really good things. I'm not 100% agreeing with all of them, but they have done good things that looked like it was beginning to make momentum for this company. And yes, this company is no different than WWE. It's owned by another parent company. It is owned by Anthem. And I knew from the very beginning, while you see Anthem owning it, they are always going to be thinking about what's good for Anthem and not always good for Impact or, finally, TNA again. That's the truth. This is all about making money for Anthem. It's more than just making money for TNA. Anthem is a parent company. They gain more money through having TNA than they would if they didn't. So seeing the situation that we had last week, seeing the deals that are beginning to develop this year, going into next year, you wonder how far this is going to go. When you look at this match and the rest of the show, you see they're setting up for Final Resolution, but they're also making it very clear that Gold Rush meant a lot to them. Night 1 and Night 2. And you wonder how far they're going to push this. And I know people are going to say, dude, we just got announcements by Santino Marella that there's going to be a lot of matches between TNA and NXT. This is great. Maybe. As I've said before, I'm going to repeat it. What are you getting? Are you getting a short-term gain with a long-term loss? Or are you getting a short-term gain with a long-term gain? That's the big question here. Because again, we have no idea how they're going to book going in the last couple of weeks. And we obviously know that they're going to probably do some specials. Because look what we got. 4 weeks of specials. 4 weeks of 2 Fade to Blacks, 1 Hardy show, and then 1 open fight night, which showed old footage. So the question is going to be, what are they going to give us for Thanksgiving? What are they going to give us for Christmas? And what are they going to give us for New Year's? That's the deal. Okay, first match. Let's make this very clear. The 4-way that they had, the 2 4-ways, it was supposed to be for finding 2 women 2 knockouts, that in the next 2 weeks will have a match just before Final Resolution, and then you will see who Kiani Jordan was going to go up against at Final Resolution. The first one, you got Mara Gray, I believe her name is Mara Gray, which we have not seen much of, along with Hudson, who came out wearing all white, looking cute. I'm not going to say Hudson isn't cute. I like Hudson. She's cute. But I don't like her pink hair. I just don't think it fits her. I'm going to be honest here. It's not that I hate multicolored hair women. No. There are certain colors that fit a person, man or woman. And there are certain colors that do not fit. You look at her. She doesn't look like she fits with pink. Maybe it's red. Maybe it's blue. Maybe it's a mixture of colors. I just don't think pink's the color, especially hot pink. Maybe it's a darker pink like what Jim the Anvil Neidhart used to wear along with Bret Hart and pretty much the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Maybe it was that, but honestly, hot pink just doesn't fit her. It looks off. But we get her, we get Indy Hartwell, we got Rosemary, we haven't seen in a bit, and then we get Dani Luna, who they've been actually pushing. I did not think Indy Hartwell was going to win this. They look like they're trying to set up a story where she's going to get more and more frustrated as she loses and may turn heel. So that's the look that I'm getting from Indy. I like Indy. But the way they're having her lose, and then lose again, and then lose again, it's like, okay. It feels like this is going to be about, really, her going from here down to here and then turning heel. That's the way it looks like with Indy, because she did job here, I believe. Indy took a pretty much chain to the face by Dani Luna. I knew that Rosemary was going to be a non-factor here. Let's be very clear about this. I have seen Rosemary in the last 2 years do absolutely nothing. It's putting over other people. That's the truth. Rosemary has been a non-factor for quite a while. Not because I wanted to be, but that's how they've been booking her. She's been a non-factor. Yeah, she used to be the gatekeeper, which that didn't last long. Then she started going to NXT, which was wonderful. And as I said, when she was there, she wouldn't have cared about jobbing. She had a chance to finally be on WWE TV. Even if it's the most lowest tier, she is tickle pink. And she got a job, she'll job. And that's what she did. Multiple times. And she's really not been a factor in anything. So I didn't expect her to win either. Then is Mary Gray. Mara Gray. Brand new, untested, unseen. I didn't expect her to win either. But it was good to finally see her. Because we've seen her. We knew she was on the roster for more than a couple of months. But they've done nothing with her. Or Hudson for that matter. So it's good to see they have finally at least used her in a match. Matt Cardona versus Mace Warner. Supposedly, Mace Warner was a good friend of his. Steph Delana used to be owned by Matt Cardona, which now he's not doing that line anymore. And pretty much, Matt Cardona's getting screwed over by Steph Delander and Mace Warner. And he's making it very clear, which I think in this situation, honestly, when you see the promo that he did, that now he wants a street fight. You see the reason I'm botching here is that this street fight is not going to mean anything unless one person shows up. Legitimately, they need someone there. They need someone there to help him. And that is Chelsea Green. I truly believe since he has shown up on WWE TV as Zack Ryder, I know he did. Just like Nick Nimitz showed up as Dolph Ziggler, I know. They didn't want to lose anything. That's the reason why I did it. If you're wondering why they didn't use their current names, it's because WWE has a tendency that if you're working for the company, they want to own those rights. Unless you can sign a contract that allows you to keep those rights, like AJ Styles or Jay Cargill or anyone else who's using the legitimate name they've been using in the indies and they're not changing it. That's the reason why. They didn't want to lose any type of merchandise that they could get with their regular names like Nick Nimitz or Matt Cardona, so they didn't do it. Even the old music for Zack Ryder was used. Even the Dolph Ziggler music was used. Not the current, oh my God, for Nick Nimitz. So that's the reason why it was done. But the thing that gets me is that really, this street fight really needs Chelsea Green in it. I'm sorry, it just feels like she needs to be there for her husband. So Steph Delander could be face to face with the woman that is the actual woman of Matt Cardona, not her, the way they booked it before. That's the way it looks. That's how I feel like it should be, but then you're going to be, well, wasn't Steph kind of cheating? Wasn't Steph messing with Matt Cardona and cheating on Chelsea Green? I know someone's going to say that, but let's make it very clear. That was part of the story. They didn't have any access to Chelsea. So if she shows up at the street fight, which I think they should have, they should have her there at the street fight to help back up her man. That's what I think. But that's just me, guys, down below. Next match. Skylar versus Myron Reed. Since they're doing a storyline where now the Rascals, all four of them, are now dealing with Order 4, I'm like, am I interested in this storyline? No. Because we really don't have a storyline here. You just had Order 4 dealing with who? The system. And now the system is not a factor in this at this moment. And they switched from the system over to the Rascals, who at this point just got Desmond Xavier back. And now you're going to be saying that the Order 4 is going up against the Rascals when it should still be about the system? Or better yet, why not have an incident where the Rascals piss off Order 4, which I did not see unless I missed something, and then it would make sense. Not because they just wanted a special match between the two of the system and the Rascals. I really feel they needed something to spark it instead of just transitioning from one to another with no story in between. So I'm not feeling anything from this. Because what do we get at the end of the match? We get a shot in the back. We see the Rascals got laid out by Special Agent Zero. Why? 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 Because they had a match with the system. Now they want to take them out. Doesn't feel like a good enough story to me. I'm sorry. Next, the second match for the women. Who is going to be the second person that's going to have this number one contenders match before Final Resolution? We got Killer Kelly, looking good, looking fine. And almost forgot. I might have some images of this. I almost forgot. When you look at Skylar and Myron Reed, twice, Myron Reed looked like he could have been badly injured. Because at one point, when Skylar gave him a clothesline, I believe I got two shots of it, too, where you see him doing a backflip after getting nailed and going inside out. His neck looked like it got jacked forward and his arms got pinned back. Luckily, he seemed to be alright, but shit, that was not good. And then it gets worse. As he decides to do Flame On, and I do believe I got the shots of it, he jumps over the top turn rope, but he doesn't get the distance he wants. Skylar is too far back, and he's falling too far forward, and then you can see the shots of him literally going face planting, and just almost face planting. And Skylar looks like he just managed to pull him forward enough that he didn't nail his head to the pavement through those mats. It was bad. And this made me think of Killer Kelly because they're engaged. I saw the video. I did a Gump Goodness, I believe, on it, of her and her man getting married. Well, not married, but engaged. She literally offered him a ring saying, "Will you marry me?" It's nothing wrong with it. Women can do it. I don't care. But probably her man almost ended up like pretty much Chris Bay, where he jacked his neck and broke it. He almost ended up the same way. And I'm going like, shit, I wouldn't like to see that. Now, we had Killer Kelly, Jody Threat, Zaya Brookside, and Victoria Crawford, because supposedly still a Tessa Blanchard can't wrestle. Now, I'm going to say this. Seeing Tessa come out there in some tight-ass pants and some nice, thick, long heels, wearing some glasses, I'm not going to say that she ain't damn good-looking. Because Tessa is a good-looking ass woman. And when you see Tessa arguing on the commentary table, and then she says she's going to be helping Victoria, and she gets up and starts running over to her, I'm not going to say she didn't look freaking cute running across over there and sexy. Because she looked like one of those women who's a 1950s, 60s style type of woman where she was wearing tight pants, and she's bent forward, and she's trying to walk along, trying to look presentable while her titties are bouncing, and her butt is shaking. And that's the way she looked. But in the end, this is what I thought. Victoria Crawford, there's no way she's going to go up against Dana Luna. Neither was a Killer Kelly. I just did not see it happening. They'd not done anything with either one of them, even though I say this, and I say this again. When you look at Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford, Tessa looks like she's really having fun working with Victoria. I do not see this teaming up, breaking up anytime soon. I think they're going to let them stay together because Victoria and Tessa are really having fun being together. I think they may really be real friends in real life because it translates to what they're doing on screen. Can Victoria kind of be a little over enthusiastic and bump into Tessa and kind of hurt her? Yeah, that's happened a couple of times because that's the personality of Victoria. She has acted like that even with Paige. But you could see it. But I didn't see it happening. And I didn't see Jody Threat getting it. Well, technically, I did think it might be possible, but it might be, if it was, it would probably be Zaya or Jody. But I didn't think Jody would be involved in this going against Danny Luna because particularly an open fight night, they already had their match. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's going to be Zaya Brookside because it can't be Killer Kelly and it can't be Victoria. So it was Victoria. No, not Victoria. Zaya Brookside. Sorry about that. That's what it looked like. Now, last thing to talk about. The stuff that happened in the ring and in the back. Let's talk about the search for Mr. Elegance. What the fuck? You see Ash by Elegance. I think that guy was a boxer, the first guy. And she saw him. She knew who it was. Grabbed his ass and fucked him in the back. Because you could see, I'm not going to show the image of him zipping up his pants. But he said, that was elegant. That wasn't elegant. But he's kissed on the face. He's zipping up his zipper. And pretty much, she fucked him. But then we get two other guys. One that did not like, and that's the Iceman. Didn't like that someone was stealing his stick of the way he was dressed. And another guy who complimented the fuck out of all three women, but then wanted this job so badly, and I would not fail you, and they call him a damn loser, and he loses his opportunity. They want someone that's oozing elegance, oozing charisma, oozing being a dick or prick, whatever which one you want. So that's what we got. And you know what? I want to make this clear. Is this boring segment? No, they're doing something different since Ash cannot wrestle. She's done. She can't wrestle right now. Don't know if it's permanent. We still don't know yet. She had to step away from wrestling. But they are giving us something different where Ash may not be able to wrestle, but she filmed a whole bunch of video segments and packages that's going to help them. Since the Elegance brand can't have her there right now, they're doing something entirely different. And since Ash is comedic, they're doing it. And with those big ass, let's make it very clear, those suckers just bounce nice. It's not bad to see. Finally, Santana. Just make it very clear. I am not fond of this story with Santana. I do not see this being a good thing for Santana. I just don't. And now hearing that it's now that, what is it? Tom called them the NXT Outsiders. Where did we hear that name before? The Outsiders in WCW? They just bit off of that mess. I would have liked something else, but they just went right there, and it's simple. It doesn't mean I like it, but it is what it is. But I don't care about this when it comes to Santana. Santana didn't even get a chance at all to even begin his reign when they just stripped it off of him. They let him go with, let Kaz, and understand, unlike everyone else, I'm not complaining about Kaz being champ. I'm not. There's nothing wrong with him being champ. In fact, I'm glad he's champ. But not when they don't even give Santana this opportunity. Now, did he talk well? Oh, hell yes. He did a great job talking. He made it very clear. When he lost, he felt like he lost everything. And after spending 1,000 days clean, which is great. I'm glad for him. I don't drink. I've never been a drinker. I never liked liquor. I never liked beer, never liked other liquors. I had to literally, I'm saying that, I know you won't believe me, I had to literally be forced to drink. Because I don't drink. I grew up in a house that was full of alcoholics and drug addicted. So for me, I didn't go to the drugs. I just went away from them. I didn't want nothing to do with them. So for me, I just don't like it. But I grew up in a house with people that Santana was acting like when he was drinking. So seeing he's clean makes me very happy. And he said, when I felt like I lost everything and was at my low, what did I do? I went to a meeting. And I got my perspective. And now, having that title, it makes me want it more. And he says to Kaz, partner, I'm coming for it. Don't get it twisted. It's coming back to daddy. But then the problem comes with the NXT outsiders and making it very sorry guys, sorry. That angered me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get it in your ear. But I don't think this is good for Santana. Having to go through all of them, going through High Rise, going through Lexus King, going through Jensen, going through who else was there? Stax, and anyone else that was a part of it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Yes, he went through the system that way, yes. But do you honestly believe having all these lower tier NXT stars, High Rise is low tier, Stax is low tier. He had his moment with Tony D'Angelo. He hasn't come back yet. Either he's still injured or he's been released. I don't know which one. Jensen, he was removed from the culling. I don't care if they kept him in the back and they were putting him through storyline. Bullshit, I don't buy that. They just had him in the back and they were doing nothing with him. All the people there, including Mr. Stone, they're all low-hanging fruit wrestlers. All low-hanging. All of them. And now you're going to have Santana, who was at the top. You bring him down here. And now you're making a mess with all the NXT stars who are here. What does that do to someone? Here. Unless they got someone really big that is going for that title that will really push Santana and make him even more popular as he is now, it's got to be someone special. It cannot be Kaz. And I'm not against Kaz being champ, but if they're going to make him rebuild back up to the title picture, and it is not someone more important than Kaz, they just threw a whole bunch of people on because they don't know what else to do with him until the next part of the year, 2026, I'm not buying it. It's bullshit. It's garbage. And now, we move on to the final thing. The match between JDC and Eric Young. Would they go there? I think that might be the title if I didn't have it already. Look, that segment we had with Kaz in the back, where he's bad-mouthing JDC's wife and said, look, stop. Me and you know, I like you in the back. You know that. We joke around and stuff, but don't talk about my wife. If you want to show how great you are, let me go at that title. And then we get a title possibility for him. That Eric Young, who keeps talking about the cleanse, who is not given the opportunity to literally get that title shot. It's only JDC. And even Eric says, you know what, this is unfair because this is all about Santino. Santino's the one who caused this trouble. All about Santino. We get this match. And I'm thinking, I don't expect JDC to win without help. Not saying that Johnny Dango Curtis cannot wrestle, because the guy can wrestle. I know he can wrestle. I've seen him for years. He can wrestle. It's just when he did the comedy bit, not everyone liked it. But Johnny Curtis can wrestle. But I expect him to win because he had to get help. I didn't think he'd win it clean. But he did. And then I'm thinking, well, he's going to Final Resolution. And then it popped in my head. Would they go there? Would they actually go there? Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, good. The light was not flashing when I got close to it. So I'm like, uh-oh. Did my battery die on my mic? Sorry. But would they actually go there? Would they actually go there with JDC going against Eric Young and allowing JDC, before he retires, because he's never been TNA champ, to go to Final Resolution and fucking win the damn title? Like I said in the opening of this video, I don't believe they'll do that. They're just going to have him have a match that he normally would not have. Because he's never had the opportunity like this, not in WWE, and definitely not in TNA. He's never came close like this. But knowing how TNA has been acting lately, they may go there. They actually may go there. And I'm like, that is the most stupidest thing. Now, at Final Resolution, we are going to get the Young in Charge going against AJF after dealing with Rick Swann. I can understand that. We'll see several of the matches done, like the Hardys dealing with wrestlers from NXT. But this will be the match that I am wondering, would they actually go there? Would they be that insane and pull a Billy Corgan? Understand this, what I'm talking about. Years ago, before Titus retired, he was allowed to become the World Heavyweight Champion of NWA. Everybody thought it was the worst decision ever made. And I didn't have a problem with it, because he had worked in the business for years. He had been charismatic, and I'm not going to tell you that he worked very well in the ring, because he's too heavy and he doesn't have the stamina to work a normal match. I knew he couldn't, but he'd already been talking about nearing retirement anyway. And after being the Funkasaurus, and a lot of people liked Tyrus at one point because of some of the stuff he did, I could understand what he did. But I could not ignore that once he became champion, they kept the damn title on him for quite a while. Instead of becoming a transitional champion, which he should have, he wasn't. When he finally dropped that title to, who did he drop it to? I cannot remember who he dropped it to. I'm blanking. I'll remember later, and I'm going to get angry about it. But when you see that he dropped it to somebody later and then retired afterward, it really did hurt the company. It did. And EC3, there you go. See? I now remember. Took a minute. I'm an old man. My brain don't work so good. But now you're doing this possibly with, and I'm not saying it will. I want to say this again. I am not saying that they would actually go there with JDC. I'm not saying they're going to let Johnny Curtis win the damn title. I don't believe they'll go there. I think they may set it up for someone else. And then eventually they'll let Santana get it back again, which is the wrong thing. They should have just let him run with it first. But would they go there? Think about it for a minute, guys. I know you're going to say, dude, they would never do. Think. Did you think that they would throw out a guy who had been always in the corner of TNA? A guy who is a fan, who basically did some level of reporting for TNA, trying to hype up the company, trying to take stills and say, hey, this is what's going on, come look. And they threw his ass out, and they had to literally apologize and kiss his ass to make up for it. Tell me, they just got rid of Santana as champ, where he was so over. Tell me, how many weeks did it take before they even let Santana be back on TV, or anything for matter? Was it 1 week? Was it 2? No. Was it 3? Kiss my ass. Was it 4? There you go. There you got 4 freaking weeks. 4 weeks of no content, no buzz, nothing. Then on that same day, not only did they took 4 weeks before they came back, one, they threw out the guy who had been trying to hype up TNA for years, always taking stills, maybe leak a little bit, but trying to make things interesting. Then they make Santana drop the damn strap to Kaz, who I'm not against, but he shouldn't get the title like that. And also, third, they're trying to hype up something in, TNA, and started dropping stuff to the news, which everyone knows that they shouldn't be doing, that it should be quietly leaked. They were forcefully trying to leak it too. That's TNA. That did happen. You could check for yourself on the dirt sheets. This is what we got. So I'm worried they may actually go there with JDC. And I'm not even against him. I do like him. But that's it. And I'm finished. Peace.